time is so good. He's got a 29:40 best race time. So even if he, yeah, the code commentator here, Cubby, is having some issues and will be joining soon. So that's why it's just me for the time being. Anyway, Flux, his PB is a fair bit behind Elojimmini, but he will be likely just trying to get a good time for himself, maybe PB in this race. That's really all we can aim for at this point. So, a couple of different things about these runners. So, Flux being a somewhat newer runner, he'll be going through for a lot more health and not doing as many difficult tricks as Elojimmini. So, Elo being on keyboard and mouse, and going for all of the tricks that we know, and also not getting very much health because he likes to go fast. It's a little bit dangerous, but it's still much faster. So the Flux is also not. This isn't his only speed game. He also runs Super Mario 64 DS 80 star. So that is really interesting to know, and I'm sure that applies a little bit to speedrunning other games such as this one. And we're going to be kicking off the race real soon. And here we go. So the first thing we're going to see, as always, they're going to head over to sign our little guide that we're going to ignore to use it to kill things, and jumping along the whole way, because doing so is just a little bit faster than running along the ground. And we wouldn't expect to see, a big difference in time by sign, but by the time they get to wall jump, there are so many tiny optimizations to be done in the movement that we wouldn't be surprised to see Elo take a little bit of the lead there. But as always in this game, even just one little slip up, one mistake, one death can cause huge amounts of time loss. And of course, we don't actually want to see that happen, but it's entirely possible that it could. So Elo's going to be the first to pick up sign, just because Flux had a little bit of difficulty jumping over one of the earlier ledges.
Oh no, I missed a minute.
Welcome to the race, Cubby.
Hello. Alright, well, I don't know about for you, but the beginning of this race has been extremely exciting for me.
Yeah. Well, so Elo's made it through his Frankie fight.
Ooh, Flux taking a little bit of damage there. But avoiding the XP, so that's really important.
Yeah, that damage is going to factor into his run over towards the first ghost door, because normally we runners will take the same damage, hopefully, on the same enemies and projectiles and things, but Flux is going to have to be a little bit more careful to make sure that he doesn't take too much damage. So he should be down at 1 health right now, so
got to be real careful near all these spikes and everything. Just get things a little bit too close and oh, you're out. Oh, and oh, you're out.
Yeah, see, that's those slimes, their projectiles are, well, they're very accurate, let's say, and they can snipe you from very large distances, and it's really unfortunate that he died to that, but he'll be making his way back soon.
Yeah, I've found through a lot of the games that I've played, the spine's accuracy is one of the best programmed AI I've seen.
Yeah, and we did notice Elo skipped the first health cell. As I mentioned earlier, he will be taking the slightly faster, about 3 seconds faster, route by not picking up that health cell. So hopefully he's not going to take too much damage. He's not going to hit any spikes and Misty or anything, because that will kill him instantly, while it will not kill Flux because he's picking up extra health.
And it all has to do with comfort at that level. It's how many times have you done it before? Yep, you know what? I don't need the safety anymore.
So Elo's the first to get to wall jump. Flux taking another little death towards the Frunky bed. He had the ghost door save, so it's not too much time lost, unfortunately. This is giving Elo a little bit more of a lead. And there's that health that we see Flux getting.
And this area, especially whenever you're trying to get down, if you don't get perfect timing early on, then you get caught up in all these spikes that are just flying in every direction, and you're not normally trained to dodge them coming from all those directions because we avoid them at all cost. So it's just being a little bit slower there makes it that much harder.
Yeah, it does. They're not easy to dodge, for sure. Even the top runners sometimes will just take a hit when they don't really want to.
Flux leveling on the way down and actually jumping there in order to make sure that all of the brambles got destroyed. Guessing he's had some instances where he's been going up the wall, vaulted over, and gotten hit, maybe taken a death there. So definitely looking ahead.
Yeah, and even if you don't die in that particular spot, it can knock you back down, and then it makes it a little bit harder to get through the rest of the path to Blackroot Burrows. Speaking of which, Elo has just entered.
Yeah, and he's definitely been putting in time because like this is he's flying through it. Oh, well, now he's putting in a little more time and a little more.
Well,
I didn't
he
want to
at
say
least
it
he
that
had
time.
that really value safety save right there.
Yeah, very rarely do you get to see a safety save be used that often. So that was definitely a situation that safety save was designed for.
Yeah, and those platforms aren't really that easy to jump over either, so it's not too unexpected to see Elo go for. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it looks like he actually needed that experience. So he was killing himself to take himself back so he can get it this time.
Fox taking it nice and safe back up through the spirit caverns from wall jump, killing the enemies in his path. But perhaps he's just a little bit unsure if he'll be able to damage boost through them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the way that you're more comfortable with it. It's the way that it's faster, basically.
Yeah, because ultimately, the less deaths you take, the more time you're going to spend playing. So it's you want to avoid deaths at all cost, and that's what you got to do. The route you know, the route you take.
Always moving forward. So Elo did a save and reload to reset the platform cycle here. It does put them back in just the exact position that you need to jump back up on top of them, and pausing for another cycle manipulation into the next room. His XP looks good now, so going back to get that other XP was definitely paying off.
Yep. Now Flux entering Blackroot Burrow. Let's see if we have any issues coming through here. Not doing a safety save at the location where Elo was having a lot of problems.
So far, doesn't seem to be needing it.
Nope, looking
I hope
good.
I didn't just curse him then.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh.
I was about to say you're not allowed to talk again.
Yeah. Okay. Perhaps he did that on purpose, just to
Got to build
mess with
attention,
us.
right?
It's a pretty popular place to say he's through safely. So on the left side of the screen, you see Elo doing the relatively new Darkness cutscene stack. So stacking up a couple of cutscenes so that we can regain movement during the skill tree animation
Yeah, and
right now.
it's actually a lot of fun. I love the blind inputs that we had to put in this game. It's just fun just listening and putting everything in. In this, I was like, I always count to myself. I always do dash glide, dash 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 glide, and I'm thinking that in my head. So to not even have to see it, I think it's actually quite nice.
Yeah, and just then Flux took a fall in Blackroot Burrows, so he was about to jump onto the platform, but just missed slightly and fell all the way back down. But he had a save, so even though he died, he could just make his way back up past the lasers again.
Elo now bringing Frankie over to the door.
Ooh, Flux just leveled up, which is uh, which is a problem because it means he can't do the Frankie walk that Elo just did. So he's just
Yeah,
going to kill himself and then probably not kill that slime again. You can dodge the slime's projectiles on that platform, which I actually think he might have been trying to do, and he fell down. But it is kind
yeah.
of hard.
When you mess up your experience this early on, and it's so vital to bringing the run forward, tiny things like that are huge. So going to have to dodge these spikes, and depending on how accurate we're looking, it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, and the Frankie drops more XP than any of these slimes, so he knows that he can have just the right amount of XP right now if he doesn't kill it. So he's made it up past it now, so that should be fine now as he takes a hit. That had enough health. So more blind movements coming up on the left. This one is a lot less risky because if you miss it, then you don't fall all the way back down to the bottom of Blackroot. And let's see if he gets it. And of course he did, and he's already up the wall, so that was perfect. Meanwhile, Flux is about to do his own cutscene skip on the darkness. I'm not sure if he's going to go for the new stack, or because that does involve specifically and deliberately failing the darkness cutscene skip that we normally would do. And as I said, there does come with a bit of risk in doing the stack method.
Yeah, it looks like we're going for just the regular animation skip. Yep.
Elo got a fifth try Grotto skip, so that was having a little bit of trouble with it, but then makes it up reasonably quickly. So looking to pick up the water vein at a low 11 minutes is really good.
And Flux now making his way out of Blackroot Burrow. So now we're at the right XP in order to be able to get this Frankie walk down and move our way on to the next section of the game. Taking a safety save on the outside, so making sure not having to deal with that again. Very, very good choice.
Yeah, and they're just picking up a spirit well that we'll be teleporting to get out of the Jinso tree later. And that's actually his destination at the moment, so he'll just be making his way there while Flux does the Frankie walk to get into the same area he's currently in.
Yep.
Oh, that Frankie is
He's
causing a little bit of
not
grief.
cooperating, huh?
This is a Frankie that possesses some sort of furniture.
Oh dear.
Now, Elojimmini did skip an ability cell that we'll be seeing Flux pick up because that ability cell is used for the Terror Break. But uh, did you just see what happened to Flux?
I I'm guessing he didn't get his 2 energy in the door first. Oh, he fell down. He didn't get the the XP while he was up on top, so he wasn't able to get the level up after putting the 2 energy in the door. Ouch, that was rough.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate death
But
to
luckily,
Elo.
having taken the save at that well, he's not as far back as he would have been. He hasn't lost as much time as was potential of taking him all the way back to the dash tree. And speaking of trees, on our left, Elo was doing some telehops through the Ginso tree.
He was
Uh,
doing some swag, jumping up on top of that teleporter to do a dash glide. I don't know if that's faster, but it looked cool.
well, he did say that if he was on PB pace, he was gonna go all out. But if he got off PB pace at all, he was just kind of gonna show us some fun stuff.
He just did it again.
Cause why not?
Yeah, so Flux has made it through the Frankie Walk, which was pretty successful, just destroying all these brambles here. Um, the alternative method to do that is to perform the Death Glide, which is quite aptly named because it's hard and it gets you killed a lot. So
Yeah,
not
it's
doing that is a safe, and it's a good bet.
definitely a good choice. Deathglide is it's a nightmare.
Not quite making the fast grow cycle either. Elo didn't succeed with the fast grow cycle, so it's not like he's lost any time compared to him.
And Elo just destroying that mini boss. It was great.
So Elo is now. Well, the two runners are set to perhaps pick up these skills at roughly the same time. So Elo getting Bash, while Flux is getting Double Jump. And Bash is a very useful skill. And
Oh, oh, the Frankie.
fortunately, okay, so Elo took a death to jumping a little bit too early before heading to the door. And Flux took a death to the Frankie, but he had a save really close by. That Frankie is, well, it's out for you. If you miss the dash glide over that pit, he's got you, because you hurt yourself to get to the ghost door. So having the save there is pretty good value for Flux. He knows that he is perhaps going to die to that Frankie, and made a save just to make sure nothing too bad would happen if he did.
Yeah, Flux's safety saves have been well placed. You can tell he's definitely aware of what issue or what problems he runs into when playing this game. So he's taking the necessary precautions in order to minimize as much time loss as possible, which is really, really smart and well done. And the first try grotto skip, man, a lesser runner would do it more times.
Yeah, getting the first try go skip is no particularly easy feat. So Fox's save looks to be just a little bit too far away from the cutscene trigger, so he might have to. Now he's good. He managed to recover that by taking the save and then walking away from the soul link before the save actually completed. So you do get a little bit more range on the saves than it looks like if you're just standing still.
Yep,
So
and
Elo is
doing
now
here. Sorry, that's oh, but not actually getting the trigger, so having to watch the cutscene anyways. So a little bit of loss there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit to do the save and reload and then not get the cutscene skip, but it was a pretty short cutscene, so it's not like missing the Sunstone skip.
No. Now Elo doing the third blind movement that we have in the run. I actually like the addition of the new blind movement because it feels like you're always doing it, and that's just kind of fun whenever you're running. And messing up on his first try on Swamp Entry.
Yeah, since he didn't take a safety save just before bashing this frog, it means he has to watch that cutscene and do the blind movement every time he fails. Hopefully he won't fail another time, but if he does, then we'll be seeing that cutscene again.
Yep, with the double bash method. Gets the break. Very solid. Now Flux making his way up to the Ginso tree. He's as you said, he's going to be stopping off and grabbing in a different ability cell. So he'll be going to the left while going up here, and that's going to get him to this point where he's going to do a pretty precise couple jumps in order to get around that corner and get the ability cell, and now he is back towards the Ginso tree.
Yeah, and as I began to talk about this earlier, Elo will be taking a different route just in Sorrow Pass, so that's doing the crazy juggle, which is really, really fast and difficult trick that involves like rapid inputs to juggle a frog all the way up Sorrow so that it can destroy a ceiling. Well, Flux will be doing the Terror Break, which requires you to do a save anywhere, which is why he needs the extra ability point, and use that to break the ceiling instead. So Crazy Juggle is faster, but more dangerous, which is a pretty common theme in this game.
Yeah, overall, if it's worth doing, then it's really hard to do.
So Elo is doing his Kuro cutscene skip right now. Let's see if he can get it. And he does. Very nice.
I always feel bad when that happens because people who haven't seen it before, they're like, what are you talking about?
Oh, we like to say there's no cutscene there at all anyway. Ooh, doing a perfect dodge around the spikes there.
Yeah, that was really nice. Just kind of curving the Ori.
You can damage boost through those spikes or jump to the other side, but doing the jump over those spikes is really cool. See, that would be why he put in the safety save just after picking up the cell. It means he couldn't skip the little cutscene with the spider sack, but he could try that jump as many times as he needed.
Flux making his way up. This is a lot of movement, and each room itself is kind of a puzzle as to how to get through it. So seeing extra safety saves, and it's, again, Flux has probably run into some issues around this area, so want to make sure that he's not getting sent all the way back to the bottom of the tree. Making his way through this teleporter room very well. Nice and clean, didn't get hit at all.
Now that Elo's picked up Air Dash, we should be expecting to see things go very quickly for him. And he'll be picking up Charge Dash as soon as he completes the fastest Stompless, which is coming up as pretty much the next thing. Double bashing the frog off of this shaft. Yeah, that's...
Oh, well, I like that manipulation with the frog in order to be able to skip getting on that wall.
Yeah, that's showing us some neat strats.
Well, he did tell me before the run that he wanted to congratulate Ronnie on getting the world record today, and he said he's going to let Ronnie be on top for a couple days before he takes his rightful place. So I think he's doing a showcase of things to come.
Flux took a death in the Ginso tree, and now he has to go back to the start of the mini-boss fight. Ooh. And then again, but Elo got fast Stompless though, first try.
Yeah, if only. Flux being a bit more careful, giving a wide berth to this mini boss, making sure he doesn't get hit.
Yeah, and especially if you're not using the scroll wheel to shoot the mini boss, because that lets you get in many volleys per cycle, it causes the fight to go on a little bit longer, and that increases the effect of the randomness spawning in different locations. Oh, and he died after killing the mini boss, so now he has to kill it again. It auto saves just before you start the fight, but not after. Oh, I still left. Elo is doing the crazy juggle right now. I want you to explain exactly what that entails, Cubby.
I wish I knew. I believe it is a charge dash bash that you cancel at the last moment. So you're 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 inflicting the least amount of damage to the frog while moving as fast as possible. Um, it's way too many inputs, way too fast in quick succession for me, and so it's one of those things. It was explained to me once, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just gonna do this rocket jump and go through the dungeon of spikes and all that. It's just way too much for me to handle."
Yeah, the interesting note is that the first time we saw this was in the TAS for all cells, where uh, Sora was completed without the feather, so this method is required to get the frog all the way up, and it uses a stomp to prevent the damage from this charge dash just before it lands, which requires like really, really high, you know, input rate.
I'm just trying to get stomp cancels to make sense. So this is so impressive.
So Ella
What?
takes a
Did you see
charge.
that stomp down to the XP? That was beautiful.
Yeah, Ella does a spooky stomp there, but he's pretty consistent at it, so you know, why not? It's a bit faster.
Ugh, that was that was nuts. I tried putting a stomp in Misty Woods. After you go through the lasers, and you're on your way down, and you kind of got to use glide in order to go from left to right, left to right. You can stomp right in the middle of all of those, but there's almost no room. And I tried doing it for like 15 minutes, and I said nope. And he does it again because he took a death.
Yeah, taking a death in Misty. I'm not sure if that was a bash bug or something, but it looked pretty rough. Got killed by a projectile. Fox is doing his key dupe in the Inso tray right now.
Oh, and that was dangerous. Oh, and he didn't get the key dupe, so he's got to go collect the keys again and try to get all 3 keys in the door while he dies so that they reset onto the field and he can end up getting 7 keys instead of just the 4.
Yeah, and it looked like what happened was he took a bit of damage, but it didn't kill him like he might have been expecting, and so that bumped him out of the range of the door.
Now, flying through Misty, I don't think he's planning on letting that happen again.
Fox missed the key dupe another time. Yeah,
This is always rough because there's a very tiny amount of space that you're allowed to be in, and misses this key. Oh, got it. And if you're just a little bit too far to the left, or even if you're looking left, like if you're in the right position and you're looking left, sometimes Ori will get pushed just a little bit over, and it's enough to just knock your keys out of the door. So it's a very tedious task getting into the correct spot.
Yeah, and Flux succeeding with his key dupe. Well, Elo has actually died a few times to this, section with all of the spikes, just landing very slightly to the left or right, which has caused him to take the death and go back. Looked
Yeah,
like he was
he's
perhaps trying to do the fabled one feather.
sometimes you just got to prove you can, and with the 3 HP, it's extremely dangerous because anything you get hit by here will kill you because of that. So it's quite dangerous. So that was a charge dash bash to the Frankie, then rocket jumping, or I guess meteor kicking down. That was a very interesting sequence there.
Yeah, it's
All these stomp cancels are so nice.
yeah. Misty Woods has a lot of these sorts of things in it, which is perhaps one of the reasons why it's such a popular location for speedrunning. Such as this rocket jump all the way up here. That's it's actually pretty precise. So to see people getting it is always.
Oh, but having to take a backup strat over here in order to get into position on top of this area. And there was a mini boss there.
Mini boss goes down in a good half a second. So Flux is attempting his swamp entry right now. So eyes on the right screen to see that in action. Doesn't get quite as far with the blind movement, but it's a bit safer because you can land in the spikes and get hurt if you mess it up a little bit.
Yeah, and you can only take so much damage because of the events that he's going to be taking here. In fact, I don't know if he has enough HP to survive. Okay, he's going to shoot from that side to stay safe.
Yeah, you can do it without taking damage if you just land on a little bit of wood. Yeah, so a very different strategy to enter the swamp. That was first try, by the way. Very different strategy to enter than what Elo was doing, because Elo's method uses double bashing, and Flux is on the controller, so double bashing is pretty difficult, inconsistent for most runners.
And Elo getting this quick cycle, ooh, and kind of stalling out of that laser.
Alright, speaking of cutscenes you don't want to miss the skip for. This is the longest one in the run, but Elo made it through easily. The sync on the trees.
Gotta love it. And it looks like we're nope. Double jumping a little bit late there, so he doesn't get as much distance on that rocket jump or a grenade jump up, but still an impressive grenade jump to get. Another rocket jump there, and fast enough in order to get around the laser completely and do another rocket jump up. He just flew up that entire area. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it's insane to see this sort of thing.
Now Flux taking a safety save because he's got to get this ability cell up here, and if he doesn't, then we're in a lot of trouble because we definitely need it for later on. Whoa. Can he make it?
That was interesting. Looks like he's just going to opt to kill himself there and try again, because the frog destroyed the rock that it was standing on, which is normally required to get enough height on the following bash.
Gets it second try.
Or at least it's a lot tighter without the rock. And, well, he gets it the second try, so not too much time lost. You're like going for some grenade jump. Oh, he actually got it. But, second guess.
Cancel.
Or he just wanted to show off another grenade jump, who knows.
So now we have door warp, which is free till you need it to be.
Yep, Elo is not on his PP pace, so that means he's going to get a first try. It's pretty simple.
And first try.
Flux is picking up some extra safety health here as well, so he's getting 5 health before he heads into Sorrow, and that allows him to take another damage boost, or another hit on the spikes in there, which is, a considerable amount of safety.
Yeah, it's definitely a big deal, especially whenever you're working on Sorrow Bash. You can easily take one hit to those spikes, and if you only have the 4 HP, then you're just done with. So, having that.
Elo is, he's going for it. He's going for a relatively new trick that was discovered where you can bash through the Kuro cutscene, the Kuro spawn trigger, and that gives you enough time to do a grenade jump all the way up and over through the laser section, and it's there you go.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, so attempting it a few times is definitely slower than just not doing it, but that was...
It's still so much fun. Going for our last grenade jump.
Yeah. Missing it a few times. This is a difficult frame perfect
patient.
There we go. I think that might have been 4th try, or maybe...
It was up there, 4th or 5th. 5th try, yeah.
Alright, so Elo is going to take the win here, which is...
Yep, we'll see what his official time is shortly.
It's a pretty fun run to watch Elo doing there with all of his swag strats and things.
Now, Flux making his way up to the Valley of the Wind and Sorrow Pass. This is where things start to heat up. The potential for dying, I don't want to say it goes up because we've definitely been through some rough stuff already, but it seems like everything's just a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, and that might even be because we're going a lot faster than we ever before, and there's less time to react to things.
Oh, dodging that bird. Now we're gonna see, gonna come up here, get this ability cell, and then head up to stomp the rocks on top of Kuro.
Yeah, and Flux didn't go for fast stompless, which we were expecting from the start, because just not comfortable with it. It does lose some time if you miss it, and it's pretty tricky to get, so not too much of a surprise.
Yeah, pretty nuts.
Yeah, like anything, it's faster to not go for it than to miss it, so...
Oh, and taking a death there. Unfortunately, that takes him all the way down. I'm guessing he rekindled the save after getting the ability cell.
Sure hope he did.
Yeah,
thankfully
me too.
he did have a safety save there, and doesn't have to go all the way back to the spirit tree, because that's one of the roughest deaths you can get if you did have to do that.
Now making his way up. Ooh. Avoiding that bird narrowly. It was, don't want to die to that twice.
Alright. So, looks like we're going to get Elo Victor in for an interview. Hello, Elo. Congratulations on your victory.
Hi, sorry for the delay there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch.
I'm glad I had fun with the run, so I'm glad everyone else enjoyed it, or at least you two.
Oh, well, we sure did due to your swag strats that you kept putting in.
Well, I knew the run was dead early on because, well, you saw what happened, especially in BRB. That was kind of different. No one done that before, ever. So I just tried to do some cool stuff, but still keep a decent time, which I kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of fun to watch, and even whenever you would die, there were claims that you did it on purpose because I had commented so much on the stomp down to the XP when leaving charge jump.
Yes.
And I was like, that is insane. And then you died in Misty, and I was like, I get to see it again. That's awesome.
Yeah. I also get to add the weave attempt. I didn't pull it off, but I forgot that on the first turn round, so dying there was beneficial to me trying to do that trick.
Well, are you happy with how the run went overall? I mean, once you decided you were just gonna show off some strats.
I mean, I did what I wanted to do, so I'm pleased with how it all came off. I got a bunch of tricks in there that I wanted, so I'm quite happy with it. Not as a timed run, it's a terrible timed run, but it was fun.
Well, you're still in the lead for the group at least, and yeah, even if this race being 33, which is still, honestly, a pretty good time for most runners, and especially with all of the different faster, not necessarily strats that you were putting in. We all enjoyed it. Sure,
It would have
viewers
been fast
enjoyed
if I
it.
got him first time. Just didn't happen. But yeah, thank you.
Well, with this win, you're actually going to be tied with Rufus at 2-0 for the group, I believe, and you have over 5 minutes on that time. So there's you're probably going to do pretty well coming out of this.
It's looking good. I think I've only got one more left with Rufus, so the top people can have their showdown.
Nice. Well, that will be fun because this was quite entertaining. Unfortunately, Flux is currently having some problems with Sarobash.
Oh no.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's one of the hardest tricks, and it's absolutely required. There's no way around it.
Unless you visit the most beautiful place, Forlorn. The only thing I couldn't show off.
Oh, such a shame too that you can't show off Forlorn. Oh well.
Well, I mean, if you're comfortable in your race against Rufus, you can always just, poke your head in the door and then come back out.
I think there's a fine line between showing off tricks and then just bad manners.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that
wouldn't-
was
I wouldn't want
unfortunate.
to do
That was
that.
a perfect setup from Flux there, and he was just right. And unfortunately, he was a little late on one of his jumps, and it threw him right into the spikes.
Well, Cubby, do you have any final questions for Elo before we finish this interview?
No, not really. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I'm glad your run went as well as it did. It was a lot of fun to watch. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, so did I.
Alright, so it really can't be understated how difficult Sarobash is. Most runners will, try this for hours and hours before even getting it the first time, so...
Yep. Attempt after attempt, you can tell he's getting a little upset. But we've all been in this situation where we've just not been able to get this trick that we know that we can do.
Yeah, and this is probably the only location you'll... one of the very few locations you'll see having more health working against you, because it takes him a little bit longer to die and try again, but, it's not that bad.
And here, even after taking the hit on the spikes, going for it, just making sure these attempts get in, trying to do whatever he can in order to get up.
Yeah, you can see him actually making it very close, some of these attempts, so wouldn't be expecting to see this go for much longer.
Oh, and that was so close.
Yeah, and just barely getting onto the rock there, so perhaps sometimes you need this frame perfect jump off the wall before you slide down into the spikes, and that's pretty much impossible to get.
Well, and at that point, because you've had so much trouble just with the process itself, your nerves are shot, and it's, oh no, I'm finally here, and nope.
Alright, this setup is looking pretty good.
Oh, just a little bit too far down.
I don't know why I said that, because commentator's curse is a thing, so I'm just gonna not say that sort of thing.
Yep, and realizing early on in that one that he wasn't going to be high enough, so the bird would have ended up dying on the spike. So a smart decision to just go ahead and end it there. That sounded so morbid.
Yeah, so by this time Flux knows that Elo's won already, and so he's probably not really feeling... Not that he would have, I'd imagine, felt much pressure in the first place to win, but now he knows that he can just try this for as long as he needs to.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, and Flux's best time is 52:40, I believe. At least that's what I have here. And you know, that being the case, he's not that far behind. And yeah, he was moving nowhere near as quickly as Elo, but running behind by running into an issue here at Sarabash is completely understandable. The dash to the left is one that has always just destroyed me. It's never intended, always painful.
Yeah, it's really hard to come back from it if you do the dash to the left. Sometimes you can make it back, maybe using a charge dash or something, but that'll often actually just kill the bird. So it's yeah, this is a precise trick. So
well, and this is also one of those things that because we're doing it on controller, there are some things that you can't do. So, I mean, yes, it is possible in order to do double bashes, and we're out save. Yes.
Makes it up. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Making it through the elbow, making his way up to Sorrow Pass. Awesome. Going a little bit too high on his first rocket jump, but there's worse things to happen.
I'm sure he's just really pleased to make it through that Sorrow Bash. You know, if you spend too long there, you can sometimes get a bit tilted.
But gets the break and making his stroll up.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing the Terror Break come up soon. So the route divergence that we were touched on earlier, but Elo took the crazy juggle. So we'll get to see the Terror Break now.
Yep, saving here, we get to do another ghost door, so we get to go through just a little bit faster. And now we're going to grab our skill, make our way up to the Sunstone, which is the opposite way than it was done.
Yeah, and that'd be because we don't have the frog to rocket jump off of to get all the way up, and we can restore our energy and things at the tree. So sometimes the runners will take the save anywhere by using the ghost door save, but it is a little bit easier to just make another save here because it means you don't need to go through the spikes nearly blind.
Yeah, this is an extremely dangerous area, and whenever you can barely see, like is going on now, it can be really easy to die because, again, you only have so much HP, and 2 hits will kill you.
And he makes it through, so no troubles there.
Pausing for these lasers, making sure not to take an unnecessary death and having to do the Terror Break again. Very smart.
Yeah, just playing it safe from here on. It's understandable to want to do that. So one little bonus of getting charge jump first is that you can charge jump over a bit of a slow trigger here, so you know it's a little bit of time.
And this is also something that's just a little bit dangerous. Whenever you move over, you have to wait for an audio cue in order to know that you've actually picked up the Sunstone. Because if you level up that ability too early, you'll save before you've actually gotten the Sunstone, and you have to watch a cutscene. So it was good waiting that little bit and making sure that he was good.
What's really fun is if you save too late, you still have to watch the cutscene.
I did that once, and it glitched out the cutscene so hard, I dropped to getting like 3 frames a second for the cutscene, and I was like, nope, I have to reset. I can't do this.
Okay, so Flux is making it into Misty Woods now, so we might see some. Probably not going to go for the same one feather swag strats that Elo was going for, but still.
No.
Ooh, if you bash that projectile that's over the spikes, you hit the spikes anyway, which is sometimes there's not really a lot you can do about it because the projectile's there and you just try and bash it. But luckily he has enough health to survive that hit.
Yeah, and having to do some charge jumps in order to get over some of these large spikes areas. You can dash glide over these areas, but dash gliding is still a pretty specific set of inputs. And if you're not comfortable with it, then charge jumping and then using glide to float over is definitely a good alternative. Unfortunately, taking a death on that frog takes him back to the beginning of Misty, so he's got to go through this section again. We'll see if he decides to put down a safety save maybe a little bit earlier than where he was.
Yeah, it's a pretty good save to put one just near the entrance of Misty, because it means you don't have to go all the way back up to Sunstone, which does take a little while to get out of. So yeah, here we see the bashes and charge jumps again.
And
he's playing it safe through Misty, so nothing wrong with that, because playing it safe means you're not as likely to die. And see, there's that other safety save you mentioned.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. These walls are all covered in spikes, and not to mention there's enemies everywhere. So having all those safety saves very, very helpful.
Yeah, so picking up a little bit of extra energy. So we'll be seeing Flux pick up climb really soon. So it's always really well, especially if you're on good pace through Misty, it's always really good to get to climb, because that's like it's a checkpoint. You get your health and energy back. And, it's the end of a split, so like.
Yeah, definitely. This is the midway point, but it's definitely not midway as far as danger. It's after you get this, the game really ramps up how many things are actively coming for you. And the second half of Misty, while sometimes faster because of all of our movement abilities, it's still extremely dangerous, and it requires some of the most precise movement in the game.
Yeah, Misty it is really hard to get through quickly, and even just to get through it all is pretty difficult for those reasons exactly.
Absolutely. I remember whenever I was playing through the first time, I was so confused because I didn't understand the trick that the place was changing each time I moved to Keystone, so I was so confused.
Yep, and he Flux manages to survive getting through the spikes there. Sometimes if you stomp or and you're just in the wrong position, you can hit one tiny little spike that's sticking out from the side and just die. But Flux avoided doing that. Ooh.
He tried to rocket jump, but he was a little bit too high, so he didn't technically have anything to rocket jump off of. So unfortunately, he wasted an energy there, but still having enough energy in order to take the save at the bottom of the meatball tower.
Okay, I'm not entirely sure what just happened there, but something looked like he nearly hit a meatball and died, but he's okay. There's nothing to... Oh, that's rough.
Oh, man. Luckily, he is familiar with the backup, so...
Never heard of those things working so hard to ruin our lives, but... Yep, makes it up fine. So Elo actually had to do that as well, since he killed the monkey too.
Taking another save here, which is good because this mini boss, it can definitely troll.
Looks like Flux is hoping to take them out one at a time. So you can, if you just fight the first one as it appears, then you don't have to actually deal with both of them at the same time. It's safer, it's not the most optimal way, but in terms of safety, it probably is the most optimal.
Yeah, and these guys are pretty dangerous because they come out right underneath you, so you need to be moving left to right in order to avoid the initial impact whenever they come out of the ground. But interestingly enough, you're actually able to do damage to them while they're still in the ground. So a bunch of the quick kills utilize that fact in order to do damage while they're still in the ground, and then as well whenever they come out of the ground. Ooh, Flux taking some damage there from the pink spikies. Ouch.
Looks like he hit 3 times since he accidentally dashed into the sort of
Ooh.
stuff that the slimes leave behind with their shots. And since dashing resets your invincibility frames, then you can take damage immediately afterwards. So sometimes you just can't catch yourself in time from dashing multiple times into something and just dying. It does help though to kill yourself really quickly, just coming up when we do the cutscene, the glitch to keep the door open in Blackwood Burrows.
And this area, much easier to get through now that we have air dash. It clears everything up. And here we're going to do a tiny little glitch, which is going to make the door you see on the right side of your screen go up after we reload, because it's stuck in the lever held position in the save. And that's going to make it available for Flux to be able to go up and to the right whenever leaving this area.
That was a close stomp dodge there. Nearly landed straight in spikes. But, managing to avoid it, so good job from Flux.
Flux making his way up. You have to do a full height charge jump and then a double jump in order to be able to charge dash bash to it. And it can be quite tricky sometimes. And now the bird is following him into the cutscene.
The bird was really up for his blood, but having that cutscene buff where you can't take damage, managed to keep him alive through that.
Making his way down to our last ability, Grenade. I don't know if we'll actually be seeing any use of Grenade.
Yeah, I don't know either, and using a grenade to exit this little spot here is actually a lot more precise than it may look. So, yeah, we're not seeing him. We're seeing him go for this one though.
This of the two, that one's my favorite. Although that's the danger of it. You got to stomp in the right spot. But I like this one more. I feel like if I'm going to spend the time to do one of the two, I actually save the most time doing this one.
Yeah, I always like seeing runners go for the grenade jump after, like, if they know they're not going to PB or they're not going to win the race, then just going for the grenade jumps to for a bit of fun. They're not too costly. If you get them really quickly, then you can save time. So there's really no loss in doing it.
Nope.
I mean, unless you die.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a big loss. Coming over here to the health cell, you gotta kind of dodge around that corner there, and now we're going to be making our way to Horu Fields so that we can get to Mount Horu.
Right, and Flux already has his 6 health because he picked one up in the spider code, whatever they're called, and so he won't have to pick up this extra one here. And because he didn't get his Kuro cutscene skip, I think he was able to just go straight through instead of having to go up and over the tree.
Yeah, it's an interesting trade-off. You have to change your routing a little bit if you're going to do the Kuro cutscene skip. But if you have no intention on it, or if you miss it, you can just dash on through there, and it can be easier as well as save you a bit of energy if that's what you're looking for. Ooh. Going for another grenade jump.
This grenade jump too, yeah.
Oh, too high, and he saves it. Woo! Luckily, he gets a health and energy refill once we get into the Kuro escape.
It is actually really easy to forget those spikes are there because, how often are you actually going to hit those?
It's like they realized that, there's probably a loading zone behind those spikes that We have no idea where it goes. And someone hit it once, and they're like, we need to put some spikes there.
Maybe it was the worst fix of all time, but nah, maybe they're just there to mess with us. So Flux got his door upon, I think, the third or fourth attempt.
Third try. Very nice.
Try. So yeah, frame perfect trick, actually very hard to get on the exact frame in a 60 frame per second game to press up. With it's very, the cues for it aren't especially good. So there's a lot of muscle memory involved in it.
I'm not even actually familiar what the audio cue is for it. I just know I get to a certain point and I spam.
Yeah, well, spamming is another perfectly valid option. Not sure what method Flux went with, but he made it through, so doesn't even matter.
Nope. And now we are making our way to the end of Kuro Escape. I would expect, since he's gone for a few grenade jumps so far, he's going to go for this one as well.
Yeah, I'd expect it too, even though it has the potential to soft lock the game.
Well, it shows that both of our runners are ready to go out with swag.
He's readjusting his position a little bit because it is the vertical position. He gets
getting it first try. That's amazing. Great job. Finishing strong.
Are we going to get the sub hour?
I don't see that every day.
Alright, well, it's going to be close.
Yep. Let's see if we get it. I think we're good.
And there we go.
And it is an official 59-58.
Yeah, so that is the sub hour. Nice.
The dream. Well, great job, Flux. That was well fought, never giving up. We had there was some rough times. Sarabash, everyone's been there. But
yeah, and being able to come back from that Sarabash and still play the rest of the game as smoothly as he did is certainly
definitely having a relatively clean end game. Like his first game, there were some deaths, and the safety saves were definitely getting used a bit more. But end game, he was really solid all the way through.
Yeah, he was. So very good job to both runners.
But
and now we have the updated standings. So because this is a group of 5, there will be 4 races per runner. So that was that was Flux's final race. And
yeah, and for having just started not that long ago, coming in with the best race time of a 48:21 is quite impressive. That was a lot of work has been put in to get that, and that's commendable right there. I know I wasn't putting up those times that early on.
Yeah, it's a hard game, and Flux is doing pretty well.
But with that, Elo is now way on top. So I believe he said his next race is going to be with Rufus. So at that point, I think they're just going to be trying to shave off as much time as possible. Elo is going to be going for a PB attempt, absolutely.
Yeah, and so he's certainly favoured to take the first seed in this group. I mean, it would be pretty unlikely for him not to at this point. So, it's just shows how good he is at this game.
Absolutely. So next up, we're going to have Terra versus This Is Not Sully. and that's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So, guess that's just enough time for everyone to go get dinner, come back, and we'll see you guys then. We will be on Speed Gaming 2 for that, though.
And next on Speed Gaming 3, this very channel, is a Super Mario Sunshine tournament at 6 p.m. EST as well. So if you want to tune in for that, that's on this very channel.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me for the run. It was fun to commentate with you.
Yeah, it was fun to commentate with you too.
And everyone in the truck, love you guys. And we'll see you guys at 7.
Just has to go back up.
Getting trolled by that shot and having to dodge it. Oh, and it actually takes a death.
That's a pretty bad death. I think her game accidentally ult-tabbed or something, it looked like, and she did take damage from the Frankie. I don't know if she has enough health to survive this damage boost.
Even though she's saved, either rocks above Kuro and trigger a cutscene while he tries to pick up the ability cell. He gets it very nicely.
Kiryu does die at the very final part of the water.
Moves through this area pretty quickly, has to wait on the laser there. Meanwhile Kiryu does get her Sorrow Bash and immediately saves, which is a very smart choice. Yeah,
And
looks like he's got it.
He did not stop long. We should get time for Spirit soon. It should, I think, be a help here. And also goes for the safety in the lasers, which is very, very respectable. Because these lasers are insta kills. They assume she will. Actually, she will not. She will just watch the cutscene. A better safe decision in avoiding another very tricky trade.
They've been putting in time because, like, he's flying through it. Oh, well, now he's putting in a little more time and a little more. And the first try grotto skip, man, a lesser runner would do it more times.
And he fails. Hopefully he won't fail another time, but if he does, then we'll be seeing that cutscene again.
Yep, with the double bash method. Gets the break, very solid.
Flux took a death in the insert tree, and now he has to go back to the start of the mini boss fight. Ooh.
They get stomp cancels to make sense. So this is so impressive.
So
What? Did you see that stomp down to the XP? That was beautiful.
Yeah, Elo does a little bit of wood. Yeah, so a very different strategy to enter Swamp. That was first try, by the way. Very different strategy to enter than what Elo was doing, because Elo's method so through the laser section. And it's... yeah, there you go.
Oh, that
Missing it a few times. This is a difficult frame per
patient.
There we go. Anything, it's faster to not go for it than to miss it. So.
Oh, and taking a death there. Unfortunately, that takes him all the way down. I'm guessing he rekindled the save. There are some things that you can't do. So, I mean, yes, it is possible in order to do double bashes. And we're out save. Yes.
Make it up. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Ooh. Going for another grenade jump.
This rocket grenade jump too.
Oh, too high. And he saves it. Woo! Our runners are ready to go out with swag.
He's readjusting his position a little bit because it is the vertical position. He gets
Getting it first try. That's amazing. Great job. Finishing strong.